Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Legatum Gaming, and this week I'm going to bring you another weekly vendor reset video. So, same as last week, I'm going to be cutting out all the safe houses in the open world, all the safe houses in the dark zone, and the checkpoints, which bring you the best gears, weapons, or mods. So I'm going to show you guys what the best ones are without saving you guys the hassle of going around and checking every single one. Alright, so this week in the advanced weaponry vendor in the base or the hub, we have a couple of really nice weapons. So let's make a start. The advanced AUG A3P. So it's got a 21% critical hit chance with brutal and responsive. Now it has commanding, so you can swap that out. The only difference is it's not a third slot. That's free, so the responsive isn't in the top slot. So you could swap out commanding, so you could technically have like brutal, responsive, and deadly, which theoretically are the best three talents you can have for an SMG. So that's pretty great. So a sub actually let me know that. So that's some good information we got right there. When you scroll down, we got a military M870, which again is really nice. So we have deadly, responsive, and then again the second slot is predatory, so you could swap that out again. And that's got a 313 stagger. Now, although they're saying that the 1.6.1 patch is going to drop on Tuesday, which they're saying they're going to take away the stagger. Who knows what shotguns are going to be like? So every patch they've been, if you like, nerfing the shotguns, but they never really seem to be nerfed that much. So maybe without the stagger they might be pointless. Who knows? The Model 700 is not so good, just for the sheer fact they got Vicious in the middle. So no one's ever going to get stamina at almost 5,000 and have a decent sniper build, so I'd pretty much stay away from that one. However, they have a nice PvE weapon, so the military RP74. So they're running brutal, deadly, and commanding. Now this is probably the best weapon this week at this vendor, I would say, just for the PvE players, for the sheer fact, like I said earlier, the third slot is free. So you can take out commanding and put in whatever you want. The rest of these aren't too great. Now they do have a nice magazine, but last week there was a better magazine that had better magazine size. So not overly too great, but definitely one I would pick up. At the weapons vendor in the hub, they have a tactical SASG. Now, last week they had two God Roll SASGs, so this is by no means better than last week. However, if you're a PvE player only, then this might be a credible build, credible gun for you. So we got responsive, ferocious, and swift. So the only one I would do is swap out swift in the third slot, which is the best slot to swap out with, as it's a free slot. So that's not too bad at all. They've got a couple of nice weapons. So the Historian is pretty nice, headshot damage 164, so could be better, with Unforgiving, Proficient, and of course the named talent for the weapon. So Unforgiving you could keep, alternatively you could swap that out for something else if you don't have the highest stamina. Cassidy is okay, so they got the Competent, Responsive, and then of course again the third talent, which is applicable to the weapon. Now no one really uses the Cassidy at 1.6, you know, who knows if that's going to be a viable gun, but if you're after one, that's actually not too bad. The Pecan is nothing special, and the Liberator, again, nothing special. The AUG Power, again, nothing special, so I'm just going to try and roll through this for you guys. Now, the G36 is interesting, because I've actually heard that in 1.6.1 it's going to be a little bit better. Now, again, this might be a little bit of hearsay, because I haven't actually seen that in the patch updates. However, it's a pretty nice roll for the PvE players. So it's got ferocious, responsive, and then, of course, the third slot is focused. So you can take out the focused and putting whatever you want for your build, which would make it more viable. SASG is not really any good. Last week there was a really nice SASG. First Race M1A is not good, and then Black Market RPK 74 is actually a really nice roll. So last week we had a God roll of this. That was like kind of like the AK-74, so kind of the same version, but just a slightly different weapon. So this week we have the Black Market, which has got Competent, Vicious, and Adept. Now, Adept in the third slot is, in my opinion, the best slot you can get by running Adept, just for the increased talents it has. Now, there is another video I've seen online which says that Adept can stack, so every time you're popping it, your critical hit chance goes up, and if you keep popping it before it runs out, theoretically, you could have like 60% critical hit chance just by using this one talent. So maybe they'll patch that in 1.6.1. Again, I haven't seen the notes, and it's dropping on Tuesday. The rest of it I'll go over very quickly for you guys, just to kind of like see what you guys are after. So far, can't see anything too good on this one. Predator's Mark Vest is okay. It's not too great. Technical. Oh, that Sentry Call backpack is actually really nice. So the firearms is almost maxed at 1257. Major is skill, and the ammo, and the minor attribute is the ammo capacity. So you could swap out skill power if you're running a firearms build and putting maybe like health or critical hit damage, so or chance even. So whatever you guys want to put in on that, that's actually a really nice build. Or alternatively, if you're running a hybrid, then the skill power works perfectly for you. Nothing too great with these. Damn, I'm annoyed about Reclaimer. Reclaimer used to be really nice in 1.5 towards the end, and then they updated that, which is not good anymore. Oh, it's not a bad mod. Not a bad mod at all to have. Alright guys, so not too much in the special equipment vendor. Okay, this week in the special blueprints vendor, like I said, always come and check this out. They might have a blueprint, which I've already got, which then means it won't show up on the video. So always check this out on whatever video you watch, which shows you about the weekly vendor resets. So we got the MP7 blueprint, which is a must, so we must get that. So I'm just gonna try and get some more credits to get that up. Firearms knee pads blueprint, holster blueprint. So nothing too major here. I would certainly look at getting the heavy magazine blueprint, because I'm sure in the future they're going to do something with that. But for sure this week, of course, what I can see, MP7 blueprint we must get. That's a must for this week, guys. Okay, at Wolves Den, they've got a couple of nice things that you guys might want to check out. So they have a tactical ACR, which has got 23% enemy armor damage, which has unforgiving, responsive, and meticulous. So again, you would take out meticulous and putting whatever you want. Now again, just be careful because unforgiving is in the first slot, which means you need your stamina at 4,790, which is a really high number. So it for the majority of people, this won't be a viable gun for you guys for your builds. However, again, if you're running high stamina, then this is a really nice gun for you to have, because you can just swap out the third slot. They also have an extended magazine, which is reasonable. Again, magazine size 109 with reload speed and rate of fire. So this is probably the best type of magazine, or the magazine which will show your DPS is increasing the most, just because of the reload speed and the rate of fire. So definitely a couple of things to check out on this safe house. At Autumn's Hope this week, we've got a couple of things you may want to check out. Alright, so we've got a Tenacious Mask. So it's really for those people who are after one. It's actually not the best of masks you can get, so Firearms is probably the worst number I've seen. However, I thought I'd just throw it in there this week, just for the people who are really looking for one and just want a Tenacious Mask with any sort of stats, opposed to having a God Roll one. So the only recommendation I would put in is take out Firearms and try and max that number out to like 1270, 1260, and then just sort of run with the enemy armor damage. So if you guys watch my builds, pretty much every build I has got max enemy armor damage. I prefer that over any other major. Minor is burn. You guys could just run with that if you're really after a Tenacious Mask. So it could be a good mask, just swap out the Firearms in my opinion. And then we got a Firearms mod here, which specs into crit hit chance. So if you guys are after bumping that number up, the number at the top, 259, is actually a really good number. Okay, at the Firewall Safe House, they've got a couple of things you guys will check out again. So they got a Reckless chest piece. So although it's not, again, the best of stats, it's got all resistance, health, and ammo capacity, which I suppose those three are pretty decent. The only thing I would take out is like all resistance and stamina. So you guys just got to make a decision on which ones you would do if you're after a Reckless chest piece. So although most people should have one by now, if you are really after another one, I would certainly pick this one up. Just take out the stamina, and then you can either re-roll it to a higher figure, or again, firearms, in my opinion, would be the best, especially for the reckless type of chest piece. Now, they also have a firearms mod, which is rolled to skill power, so not too bad. Certainly a couple of things to look at the safe house. Okay, so that is a roundup of the safe houses in the open world. Now we're going to make a start on the checkpoints in the dark zone. Okay, so let's make a start at West 31. The only thing they have good this week is a really nice extended magazine. Magazine size 110, critical hit chance 3, and critical hit chance 4. Critical hit damage of 4%, so definitely a magazine I would pick up. Okay, at West 39th Street, they have a reasonable firearms mod, so 255 and the major's health. Now, again, there's been higher mods before, however, this is definitely one to look at if you guys just want to bump that up. Okay, at the East 64th, they have Secret Mine damage mods at 3.5%, so if you guys missed that last week, it's here this week. So it's not the best. It could be 4%. However, same as what I said last week. If you guys do want to have a little bit of fun, they are here at East 64th. Okay, at East 58th this week, he has for you a really nice Specialized backpack. So firearms is max at 1270 with major's health and minor's ammo capacity. So I won't really change much on this, to be honest, other than probably maxing out the health a little bit more as the major, but definitely one to pick up this week, guys, a max Specialized backpack, that's for sure. At East 42nd, he has for you a really nice team mod. So what I mean by that is First Aid Ally Heal. It's 6%, so that's the max. So if you guys are running kind of like a healer build or anything like that, I would certainly recommend picking one of these up. At East 40th this week, they have a nice SASG. Now, although there's been a nice one earlier on in the video, and God Roll one last week, they're still popping these in. So it has Adept, Fierce, and Destructive. So these are some pretty nice talents. Destructive in the third slot is still a viable talent. However, I would personally change that. And then Adept up top. Again, just be careful because the skill power or the electronics, which the requirement is 3,832. So although it's pretty high, this would probably only work for maybe like Alpha Bridge or a skill build, or kind of like maybe like a hybrid. So certainly, most people should have a SASG by now, although if you are looking, I would recommend getting it from here, Adept, Fierce, and Destructive. At the East 34th this week, they have a nice classic 8K47. Now, this is aimed for just a PvE player, however, they've got Destructive, Prepared, and Responsive. Now, it's a pretty much of a toss-up between taking out Prepared or Responsive, because if you guys look at the talents, Prepared damage is increased by 15% when more than 30 meters from the target, and then Responsive is damage is increased by 10% when closer than 10 meters from the target. So, definitely a really nice weapon to pick up here, guys. Just make your choice which one you want to be and what sort of player you are, whether it's closer than 10 or further than 15 meters. 30. Okay, at the DZ9 Safe House, they have a really nice Banshee Shadows Mask. So I would definitely recommend you guys picking this up. Firearms is 1250, with the major being enemy armor damage at the max 8%. The only thing I would swap out is maybe the minor and just put in whatever you guys want, but definitely pick up the mask. The rest of the stuff in here isn't too great. However, depending on your build, it could be. So again, Banshee, again, it's becoming a more viable gear set again, especially in 1.6.1. So if you're running kind of like a hybrid Banshee, I would definitely recommend this with skill power, skill haste, and ammo capacity. So that is a really good armor and really good mask for the Banshee set. The rest of it isn't too good. However, let's go check out downstairs and see the mods. So the only thing I would suggest having a look at is this heavy magazine spring. So it's got reload speed, critical damage, and rate of fire. Now, I know it's not something I would personally use. It's definitely something that you guys should take a look at. Alright guys, so that actually concludes this week's weekly vendor reset. Now it's actually a really poor week, and I'm a bit disappointed that I couldn't share with you guys some better gear or some better mods or whatever that might be. So unfortunately that's it for this week, guys. I hope you guys do like the content. If you do, please hit a thumbs up, or to see more each week and to see other videos, please hit subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys.